There's a point in a man's journey where the version of ourselves that we think we have to be, it starts breaking.
My brother had a mental breakdown, a massive mental breakdown, September 17. And in December 17, I was exactly the same. But I lost brother, a buddy, a best mate, a business partner.
But I wonder if that's the part which men struggle with the most, is actually not knowing that there is a way out.
So what I noticed was I was so busy working that I didn't have time to actually check in on myself. You've got to do this for yourself. So if there's anyone out there that's waiting for someone to come and save them, but you're the first person that's got to save you. I now concentrate on the most important person in my life. The most important person in my life wakes up with me every single morning and goes to bed with me. That's me. And it's going to sound like a boast. One of the reasons I'm fucking brilliant at what I do is because I am so real, raw and honest. It's not that I don't care what people think about me, Harrison. It's that I can't care what people think about me. I think you get to a point where you know the good stuff and you know the stuff that's just noise. So every single person I come across, I'll have a smile on my face because I don't know where that smile's going to go.
Many men think they're fine until life comes along and proves otherwise. In this episode, I welcome Neil Giller to discuss what's happened when everything he thought he had under control suddenly collapsed. We talk about the black dog, the graft mentality that stops men from checking in with themselves, and what it actually looks like to sit with it instead of ignoring it. This episode is about responsibility, awareness, and the moment you realize no one is coming to save you. If you found value in this one, support the mission. Please kindly subscribe and leave a review. It helps the show grow, and that means that we can reach more men who are navigating that messy middle of growth and support them in becoming more self-led. Thank you so much. I'm Harrison, and this is the Growth Voyage podcast. Enjoy. Okay, the red light is on. Neil, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Harrison. Thank you very much for having me, man.
You're very welcome. Pleasure to have you on. There's a point in a man's journey where the version of ourselves that we think we have to be, it starts breaking. So I want to know, when was that point for you?
So just give you a rough background. So I ran a business for 20 odd years, 25 years with my older brother. So there's 11 months and 3 weeks difference between us. And he is a sufferer. So he's a mental health sufferer. And I poo-pooed it, if I'm being honest with you, Harrison. I was like one of those guys that come on, pull yourself together kind of thing. The Sod's Law states that it came and hit me like a ton of bricks. So my brother had a mental breakdown, a massive mental breakdown, September 17. And in December 17, I was exactly the same. So it was weird for me because I didn't know what was happening. So I think maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks leading up to it, I felt something. It was something like in the pit of my stomach, just not feeling 100%, tired, pissed off with a lot of stuff. Listen, I'm old now, so I could be pissed off with stuff and it's okay. But I just felt there was something. And on the 2nd of December 2017, I woke up and I was broken, Harrison. I was absolutely broken. So yeah, I call it the black dog. I don't know whether you've ever heard that terminology before. So I call it the black dog. Now you've got two choices. Either you can give that dog a kick or you can give it a cuddle. I've learned how to give it a cuddle. Let's put it like that.
Well, this breaking point, it's always fascinating to me because I think when that black dog does happen, it catches you off guard. But then I wonder, looking back, whether you had moments leading up to that. Maybe there were signs that something was off, not just in the month leading up to it, a couple months. It might have been for quite a few years potentially, but because of this kind of grafter mentality, it perhaps didn't get acknowledged,
Well, you're talking about this graft mentality. I think what happens is we're so busy being busy that we don't have enough time to check in with ourselves. And I'm going to go across the board with that. I think the majority of people don't check in with themselves at all. Whereas, so in answer to your question, I don't remember feeling anything. I remember maybe before the day where I woke up, I didn't know who I was, didn't want to be here. I mean, I'm fortunate. It's only 3 days in my life I've not wanted to be here. And I live for my kids. I live for my mum and dad. I live for life. I enjoy life, you know, but they were dark days. So I don't know whether I felt it coming, Harrison. I do know that the day before, I'll always remember I took my daughter out for something to eat. And she was sitting like where we are. And I just remember seeing her like float off into the distance, and it was like, whoa, what's going on? And everyone that I was talking to wasn't present with me, or maybe let's reverse it up. I wasn't present with them, so I don't know whether I really felt it because I was busy dealing with my brother as well, who wasn't there, and we unfortunately had to section him. So if you've ever been there before, it's not a nice place to be. So that was in the September. So maybe thinking about it, maybe from the September when we sectioned him, there was that little something in me that was difficult.
Maybe subconsciously it kind of like triggered something within you perhaps, or kind of like, say, awakened, like almost like awaken you to like, okay, right, there's something, there's something within me as well, perhaps. Interesting. So what was the relationship like between you two? And yeah, as you were alluding to, I think when we're very close to someone who's struggling, it's very difficult to maintain your center all the time if you're always giving your energy away so freely.
Harrison, whatever happens is my bigger brother. So there's 11 months and 3 weeks difference. Okay, what I lost, and if you're listening to this, Ian, I love you to bits and pieces, but I lost brother, a buddy, a best mate, a business partner, a confidant, someone that was watching my back all the time. Still love him to bits and pieces, and he still struggles to this day. Thank God he's still with us. There's a funny side. I always remember my mother phoning me after the second time he tried to finish it. He said, "Are you sitting down, Neil?" Yeah, I'm sitting down, Mum. Yeah, your brother's tried again, but he's so shit he can't even do that properly. So we, you know, and I tell that story quite a lot because it's that dark sense of humour that gets you through, Harrison. And thank God I've got a sense of humour, because there was enough times I had to call on that sense of humour when I'm sitting there, not knowing who I was, what I wanted to do, not being able to wash, dress, whatever it is, run my business, etc. But the sense of humour helps. Sense of humour really helps. But you've got to switch that sense of humour off sometimes and actually get underneath it. And once you start going underneath it, so I started having counselling, etc. It brings it all out, brings it to the surface. So yeah, it's I still love my brother to bits and pieces, but we're not as close as we were. But he's a good lad.
So there might be an element of you kind of mourning the brother that you had, right? You mentioned he was playing all these roles in your life as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you know what? It's actually, today's the first day, you saying that's actually the first time I'm quite deep thinking, but I'm thinking about it. Yeah, you really, how much do I pay you for this session, by the way? But no, it's a good thought. And yeah, I've never really thought of it like that. So it was kind of a loss for me losing my best mate, my brother. He's still with us, but it's not nice to see people you love struggle. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, they also talk about mourning, right? In terms of, right, even counselling, for example. You know, I feel like often with the journey, you reflect back on perhaps your childhood at certain points, and I think there's an element of grief there for your parents, and they can still be alive, but it's perhaps the version of them that you kind of looked up to as a kid, perhaps, or that perfect kind of godlike parent, and then it's almost a process of like mourning the version of them that you had in your mind? And then
Harrison, I'm fortunate, man. You know, I sit here as a 55-year-old, still got my mum and dad, who are the most beautiful human beings that God ever put breath into. So I'm really fortunate. We did stuff when we were kids. I mean, give you an idea, my parents picked us up from a 6-bedroom semi-detached house. They went on holiday to America, came back, and 6 weeks later we'd moved to America. So it gives you an idea of how fucking mental my parents are. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have to mourn anything about my parents, or I don't think about them any differently now than I did when I was a kid. In fact, more now, I actually look at them and I'm like, yeah, thank you for what you did for me, you know? And my parents are really, I mean, my mum's a powerhouse. I mean, I said to you as we were walking in here, I spoke to my mum this morning. Not many 55-year-olds that can turn around and say that, Harrison. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of blessed. My parents have, I'm going to use the word learn. My parents have learnt me really, really well. And I know that's not grammatically correct, but I hope your listeners understand exactly why I'm using that word.
Yeah, well, it's with that kind of fresher perspective, isn't it, that you can actually really appreciate everything and you see the humanness of them.
Yeah.
I think that's when you can really actually start appreciating them. So I think, yeah, we go through these different processes, and I think the challenge with depression sometimes, especially when it's the first kind of proper black dog, as you described it, I think the issue is that because we haven't been on that journey before, it's a big like, whoa, what is this? We can't see the whole path. Whereas, you know, you'd know that, okay, you have that moment and now, yeah, you kind of have a transformation recovery. Not everyone necessarily is able to do that, unfortunately. But I wonder if that's the part which men struggle with the most, is actually not knowing that there is a way out, not having that kind of growth mindset in a way.
Well, you know, there's a horrible stat out there, 84 men a day decide to take their life. And yeah, that's a real shit stat. That's a real shit stat. So for me, doing what I do now, so I was running a mailing house print room before. I'm now a mentor stroke coach, and I help my clients live a life-work balance. But it's not a work-life balance. So what I noticed was I was so busy working that I didn't have time to actually check in on myself. Whereas now, I make a conscious effort checking in on myself. I make a conscious effort of whether I like it or not, getting up and going out for a walk. I make a conscious effort of putting a smile on my face. You've got to do this for yourself. So if there's anyone out there that's waiting for someone to come and save them, I want to let you into a little bit of a secret. You're the first person that's got to save you. Yeah, there are some phenomenal counsellors out there and phenomenal people that will sit and help you. But you've got to want that help, first of all. Until you want that help, it's a real difficult position to be in. I was fortunate. As soon as I came down with it, I wanted it sorted straight away. I wanted to get it. I wanted to find someone that could help me. I wanted to have mechanisms that I could deal with. And still to this day, I do a lot of breath work. So I met a girl probably a couple of months after I had my spate, and she taught me how to breathe. And your listeners are going to be sitting there thinking, whoa, 1 second, you're 55 and you don't know how to breathe. We don't. We don't know how to breathe. We don't know how to regulate. We don't know how to sit. We don't know how to listen. You know, we don't know how to understand our mind and body. Now, when I've got a problem, we had a conversation, I had a problem this morning. Now, 4, 5, or 6, 7 years ago, I would have lost the plot. But today I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. And there's a terminology out there, it is what it is. Now, I didn't like people that used to turn around and say that, but guess what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Got a choice. You can deal with it, or you can keep on hiding it.
I think it's that reminder, isn't it, that we kind of have a conscious choice whether to go down certain paths, emotions, whether to really entertain a thought process, whatever it is. And yeah, you mentioned something there, breath work. That's a huge, even that is just such a huge part of the process. because you're talking there before about how, it's kind of down to us, and our state is down to us. Like when we're not in that reactive state, we can take charge. We can decide what we actually want to do, what steps we want to take, and even something as simple as that, just like taking a moment, just breathe,
We're in a world that's 150 miles an hour, right? So anyone that runs a business or anyone that wakes up every single day and lives a life, you're running at 150 miles an hour. So it's like this morning I had a bit of a problem. The guy that was talking to me, all I really wanted to do really was punch him, right? But I felt myself just like, in through the nose, hold for 5, exhale. And it's mad how when you know how to deal with it, you can deal with it. And I feel sorry for people that don't know these mechanisms, and it's getting yourself out of that funk as well. So there's plenty of days, and I'm honest when it comes to my mental health. There's still to this day plenty of days I don't want to play ball, Harrison. But I've got little mechanisms, I've got little tricks. I'm kind of like, right, come on then. You know, one of my favourite terminologies that my mum gave me is eat what you can and leave the rest. And that always used to pertain to when mum used to put shitloads of food in front of us. But I think it's a really good thing to use for your mental health. You know, how much have we got on our plates? Don't have to eat all of it. Don't have to eat all of it. So eat what you can, leave the rest. And the other thing is as well, it's about being honest with yourself, I think. Because if you're fighting this depression, it's worse. It's worse.
Well, I've always appreciated the idea that, okay, it's like fighting the depression, or the depression itself that causes the pain. I think very often it can be the resistance to what is that actually causes it. Because I think once we're at rock bottom, it's kind of like, okay, we're here now.
Yeah.
Now the only way is up. Yeah, and I think it's that resistance to our kind of identity shifting, our ego changing.
Agreed.
That causes the pain. And I think you've touched upon something there as well about just getting the fundamentals in place. Because now I imagine it sounds like you're similar, where you're going to have periods where you're just not quite yourself, but because you've got the tools, it's okay, because you're still like, for me, it's going to the gym, it's getting 7 hours of sleep, it's doing the breath work and stuff. So even if I haven't perhaps, let's say, got enough done, classic, or I wanted to do this, haven't done this, and now I've got all this doubt arising, even though I'm there and it can seem a bit chaotic, I'm still turning up for myself. I'm still doing the things to maintain a bit of a solid baseline in a way. And I think when you have that solid baseline, you know, life's going to happen whether you like it or not, but at least you're not, being taken with the storm. You're just getting rained on.
Well, I think I used it before. It is what it is. It used to aggravate me, but it is what it is. You know, I mean, I know I speak to a lot of people that suffer with sad disorder, which is from like October, at the end of September, all the way through until March. And my missus, she actually laughed at me the other day. She went, well, we're going to get the nice Neil for the next 6 months, right? So you have to adapt to that. So I went out and got myself a sad light, made sure that we go on holiday, made sure that we're doing stuff. So for me, when I'm doing stuff, I'm a lot better than when I'm sitting. Because when you're sitting, your brain's working at 150 miles an hour. I don't want my brain to work at 150 miles an hour. I want it to deal with what it is that needs dealing with there and then. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a question though. Cool. So if are you able to kind of like just like sit with everything that's kind of going on? Like, because as you were saying, we're very busy.
Yes, I am.
As a man, I think we're very, the instinct's just right. We fix it. We get on with it, and we'll still have our processes in place. But when there's like, would you kind of take a moment? And I appreciate it to an extent. It's a privilege to be able to do this, because not everyone has the luxury. But do you think you're able to take a moment to kind of just, I don't know, maybe it's like 3:40 p.m. or something, and got like half an hour until you have to do something, would you take a moment to kind of just like...
Absolutely.
You would, yeah.
So I often find myself, I'm talking about the black dog. I've actually got a black dog, right? So I often, when I'm feeling at that point, like probably a little bit burnt out, it's like, right, put your jacket on, get your ass up, go out for a walk. And I'm fortunate, I live by water. So I live by a canal, and water is one of the most beautiful things. It really is. So I'm often found sitting, watching the water move. I mean, the beautiful thing about water is whatever you put in front of it, it goes around, over, through. And that's what we should be doing as human beings. That sounds really deep, man, but it's, I do now know when that time is needed. So I will find myself on numerous occasions feeling anxious. Right, okay, if you're feeling anxious, drop everything, put everything down. Go and do something else. Go for a walk. Go and do your breath work. Go and give the dog a cuddle. I mean, I was speaking to a client the other day, and they turned around to me at the end of the conversation and they went, "Is that you heavy breathing?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm on the floor cuddling my dog at the same time I was talking to you." And it's things like that. It's being around people who get you.
Oh,
that's an important part.
That's massive.
That's a really important part. I mean, I've got a little terminology. I mean, unfortunately, my youngest daughter, both of my daughters suffer a bit. And this is something that comes from my mum's side, because she's a depressive as well. And I didn't know until it hit me. She turned around and told me that she was a depressive. So for me, having my kids around me, I live for my kids. I worship the ground that they walk on. So it'll be a little conversation with one of my girls. That gives me a nice little cuddle. Do you know what I mean? It'll be a shit conversation with one of my boys. It's even down to like something like this morning. I've got a very, very good friend of mine. We check in with each other minimum twice a week. And the questions that is asked is, "How you doing, man?" And it's not, "Yeah, I'm all right." It's, "I'm doing fucking shit at the moment." Right. What's fucking shit? How can I help? What can I do? And the majority of the time, I don't know whether you'll appreciate this, the best help is someone actually just sitting there listening. Right. And I think that if you try and have that conversation with yourself and don't involve anyone else, for me, it don't work. You've got to voice it, because once you voice it, you hear it.
Yes.
You hear it. So I want to come back on something that you said before about being able to regulate yourself. So for me today, I had a little bit of a problem this morning, not insurmountable. And you know what? Grand scheme of things, it's not even a problem. So today, and I love my tunes, I love my music. So my drive here today had no music, no tunes. There was nothing on. It was just me driving and me talking to myself. And I'm one of these freaks that actually do talk to themselves as well. The worst thing is I actually end up having an argument with myself, which is fucking brilliant. It really is. It's like, man, you're having an argument with yourself. Yeah, I know, right? Leave me be. Leave me be. I often get caught talking to myself.
What does this argument look like usually?
Well, it's basically like, you'll be sitting there like, "Come on, get yourself out of the funk. Fuck off. I don't want to get out of the funk. Out the funk. I'm happy being in the funk." No. No, you're not. No, you're not. Come on, man. What are we going to do to get you out of the funk? Right. Well, I don't want to do anything. No. We're going to go for a walk. Right. I don't want to go for a fucking walk. Okay. Right. I'm going for a walk. And it's a funny conversation. Right. And I don't think people do talk to themselves that much.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah. Because it's a technique you can use, really kind of talking to your ego, really. And kind of like
all got
having
one.
a bit of a, yeah, it's quite a nice approach. I've never really considered it quite like that.
You can have that one, Harrison. So you can use that one. It's all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously there's like journaling, and I don't know if that was any big thing in your journey.
So I'm dyslexic. So it's really difficult for me, even when I write something down, I haven't got a fucking clue what it says. I should have been a doctor, to be quite honest with you, because I can't read my own handwriting. But there are times that you want to get that stuff out of your head. It's really good to write down. It's really good to voice note, or it's really good to go and investigate it. So when I say go and investigate it, when I'm in a funk or I'm feeling a little bit shitty, I love quotes. So I'll go and find a quote and I'll sit with that quote.
Where'd you get your quotes from?
All over the show, man. So I'll let you into a little bit of a secret. Every single day for the last 10 years, I participate on social media quite a lot. Facebook's one of my chosen fields. So every single day I'll put a quote up, and then on my stories, I'll do another 6 or 7 quotes. Now, one of the main reasons I do that, and the point in case yesterday morning, someone actually sent me a DM who I don't know. They're just following me. And to the words of, without your daily posts, I would have given up 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, now what I explained to that guy is, you know what? That's fucking brilliant to hear, but let me let you into a little bit of a secret. Those quotes are for me, first of all. Okay? So I'm reading everything that I'm putting out, but that others are taking those quotes and using those quotes for their mental wealth. And I'm going to use mental wealth. That's fucking brilliant, man. That's brilliant. So on a daily basis, I'll get people coming at me going, thanks for that, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks for putting that up.
I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Really awesome. And it kind of makes you think on an energetic level as well. If you're putting out what feels true for you, then I think people will resonate towards that. I think very often, on a slight tangent, but I think very often, especially growing up, at least in my journey, it was a case of, okay, what should I do? Or what should I do to appear a certain way or to look cool or whatever?
I gave up with all that shit, Harrison, man. I gave up with all that shit.
When did you give that up, do you think?
I gave up. I'm not a jealous human being. I never have been. I've never looked at what someone else has got. So I'm not one of these guys that will turn around and go, oh, look at the size of his house, look at the size of his car, look at how many what watch he's wearing, etc., etc. That's your journey, man. So I've never participated in that. And it's going to sound quite selfish. I now concentrate on the most important person in my life. The most important person in my life wakes up with me every single morning and goes to bed with me. By the way, that's not my missus. That's me. If you're listening, babe, that's me. I am my keeper. I can't wait for anyone else to do it.
So, but before you had your, we'll say, breakdown and then flip it to breakthrough, really.
Yeah.
But before this breakdown then, I imagine you weren't doing that. So what were you putting before yourself? Was it people? Was it your business? Everything?
Yeah. I do. So I mentor stroke coach for a living now because I've been there, seen it, done it, got all the T-shirts. And one of the important questions that on the first or second session, I nail my clients. Who's the most important person? And the majority of people you ask that question to, they're going to give you everyone else other than the most important, as I've explained, the person that you got to be every single day, the person you got to be every day. So I've always been a positive, smiley kind of human being. I've always said what I wanted to. I've never ever held anything back, and it's got me in trouble in the past, but I think I've got to a point now where the people who know me really, really well appreciate that. You know, so if I think you're not doing, I mean, as a mentor stroke coach, it's brilliant, right? Because if I don't think that you're pulling your weight or you're not doing what you need to be doing, I'm going to tell you, man. It's as easy as that.
Well, that's the quality you want in a friend. I always say you don't want validation. You know, you want clarity, and sometimes clarity is, or the truth, it's gonna hurt sometimes, but that's what you want. Yeah.
But you know what? We're all grown up, Harrison. We've never been hurt before. It's the way you take it. There's a difference between criticism and feedback, and that's self-criticism and self-feedback. Right? So when anyone has a go at me, I don't see it as criticism. I see it as feedback. I might not like what you're saying, but I'll take it as feedback. And if you've had enough balls to actually say something, I've got to listen. Got to listen. So there's little things that I do, you know, going back to it. I check in on myself quite a lot, especially in the winter. Going back to what we were talking about before, those 6 months that are dark and cold and rainy. I mean, we're getting to a point now where you're waking up, it's light. You're walking out of work, it's light. It's the way it should be. I should have been born in a very, very warm, sunny country. Because if I was given the choice, I'd walk around in a pair of shorts and T-shirts all day long. That would make me a happy person.
I've had this conversation with guys in the past, and it got me thinking, because I used to really rely on the sun. And I said to myself, I experienced a winter here. I can't remember if it was winter 23 or winter 24, but it was one of those two. Probably winter 2023. And I remember after that was over, I was like, I'm not experiencing a UK winter again. And so, you know, I went off on my travels, and in the past, you know, I'd go to the Canary Islands, or it'd be Marbella, or it would be anywhere else, essentially, but Bali, aside from the UK. And I remember this year, it was the first time I kind of enjoyed English winter.
Really?
First time in a while. And I had this big thing about it. Fuck, what am I gonna do? And I realized actually, and I had projected this whole image of just the UK generally, right? And I'll never forget it, because it became so clear. It was like this flick for me, which was like, man, I can create my own reality here. And yeah, trust me, I love the sun. But I've also noticed how easy it was for me to kind of just project everything on the weather. That's not to say it's seasonal depression isn't a thing, but I found for myself that I had a choice. I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna keep going. And then,
you used the word there, Harrison. Choice. Use the word there. It's
we create our own reality.
Powerful, man. Your choice is really, really powerful. It's going back to what I was saying before. I took a decision. I remember when I hit the depression, about 4 or 5 months later, I think it was a mentor or a coach or whatever it is, my counsellor turned around and redefined it for me. Instead of it being a breakdown, they redefined it to me as a breakthrough. Now, they're just words, but isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that those words can change so much? It's madness.
Just by interchanging the words that you say to yourself. I'm pretty sure they've done studies on this anyway. Just like changing certain words and the impact it can.
Well, I
have,
teach salespeople. So if a salesperson's going to walk in the morning and think, oh man, I'm not going to sell anything today, I guarantee you something, they won't sell anything. Compared to, do you know what? I'm going to have a fucking brilliant day today. I'm going to smash those phones and I'm getting some yeses. I guarantee you the first one will sit there moaning all day long and get absolutely nothing. And the second one will end up with 1 or 2 bites as a sales human being.
Is that your kind of view of how you see like manifestation? Or
I'm a believer in manifestation.
Yeah.
I really am. And I know that it gets poo-pooed quite a lot. Yeah, I'm a believer in manifestation. And I know that for a fact. I shut my business down and I manifested that I would open up a business that I have opened up. I manifested that I'd have 10 clients in a year. I'm now sitting at 21 clients, which is, I'm blessed. I'm truly, truly blessed. And going back to it, it's going to sound like a boast. One of the reasons I'm fucking brilliant at what I do is because I am so real, raw and honest. I don't have to pay anyone else's bills. I haven't got to use anyone else's structure. I haven't got to pay commission to those people. And if you think I'm having a go at anyone that does do that, you're fucking right, I am. But I've taken everything that I've learned in the last 34. I'm going to get so many people coming at me on that one. I don't really care. But I've taken all of those little things and I've remembered them and I've made notes and I use them for me and I use them for my clients as well, Harrison. You know, you got to remember, you got to remember that we're blessed to be. I heard something the other day. The odds of us being here are 4 trillion to 1. Let's say that again. The odds of us being here, 4 trillion to 1. The odds of us sitting opposite each other, the odds that we're here, that's 8 trillion. That's mind-blowing, isn't it? And you know what? The majority of the time, I'd say about 90% of the time, I'm aware how blessed I am to be walking the earth. There's no religious cult or anything going on here. If you can stop and appreciate the little things in life, i.e., I fucking woke up this morning, right? There were plenty, and I use this terminology quite a lot. This is one of my favourite ones. There were plenty of people that went to bed last night with plans that didn't get a chance to wake up and do them today. You did, so shut the fuck up with your moaning. Right? And it's a beautiful, beautiful saying. It really is. It really is.
Yes. Again, I think there's an element of personal responsibility here, and I'm always checking in with myself. Right? You know, my gratitude, just 5 things every morning. Bang, what am I grateful for? And I really, really feel it, because it's very easy for me to kind of get caught up in like looking into what's next.
The noise.
Yeah. And it's like, hang on a sec, like, just what I have now, like, this is awesome. And I'm constantly just like thanking God, universe, wherever, everything, like people around me.
But I think the world around us actually tells us that it's not enough. Do you know what I mean? It's never enough. You should always be going for more. You should always be going for more. Well, how's about actually stop? And I say this to my clients a lot. I had it with a client yesterday, actually, who has smashed it in the last 12 months. And I turned around to him and said, at any point, have you stopped and actually like smelt the roses or smelt the coffee? No, I'll get on with it. And I'm like, no, I'm not asking you. I'm fucking telling you. Right? So his homework was to go and write all the good stuff that he's done. Well, he doesn't write, he uses AI. So he went and asked Claude. And Claude came back and said that he was a fucking brilliant human being. So I got a message from him. Saying, I fucking hate you, Giller. And then it was the transcript from Claude telling him all the great stuff that he'd done. It's an English colloquialism, I think, Harrison, that we dwell on the negativity a hell of a lot more than we do the positivity. And it's going back to it. Right? And if there's one thing that anyone's got from today, you're fucking blessed that you woke up this morning. And if that's your starting point, wow, man. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
That's it. Always comes back to personal responsibility. And you mentioned something there I was keen to touch upon. And you mentioned it earlier as well, like these conversations with yourself. And there's the kind of discipline in a way of kind of like shifting thoughts in the moment. How have you learned to know which thoughts to trust and which ones to kind of go, you know what, that's noise? Because in my view, I've like when there's that chaotic state, that fearful state, I've kind of learned for myself, like I know this is all noise type of thing, and so I don't always address it, and that's another discipline. But it sounds to yourself that you're actually very curious. I guess there's always curiosity, but it sounds like sometimes you have a conversation. I'm always
having, seriously, if there's a microphone going on in my head, seriously, it would be phenomenal, right? But there's another one for you. You can always bend down and pick up nothing. Again, how blessed are we? How blessed am I that I got 2 beautiful kids? How blessed am I I'm 55 and still got my mum and dad? How blessed am I that I got a loving partner? How blessed am I that I got 21 clients? Right, so choosing to listen to that noise, I think you train yourself. I think you get to a point where you know the good stuff and you know the stuff that's just noise. So it's like today when I had this problem this morning, picked myself up, took the dog, went for a walk along the canal, And I got the answer within about 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, it's just my short-term memory loss really doesn't allow me to remember shit. But I think you get to a point where you know the shit that you're talking is shit. And you decipher, it's kind of like, like when you're mining for gold. You've got like the pan, shaking it. If you shake it enough, what's going to be left? The gold. Right, and I think that's what you got to do with your thoughts sometimes. Because we've all got intrusive thoughts, Harrison. Well, I think we do. I think we do. It's trying to decipher and switch off the noise compared to keeping the real noise on. So, have I made some bad decisions? Yeah. Has that voice lied to me sometimes? You're fucking right. But there's one thing that I say all the time, and I'll ask you the question. When you make a decision, or you're in the process of making a decision, do you use your head, your heart, or your gut?
What I do and what I want to do sometimes changes, but I usually use my gut.
Right.
All right, you call it gut. I call it like
it's a sixth sense, isn't
intuition type of thing.
So
yeah.
if you meet someone and your gut tells you that they're a wanker, the majority of the time, 99% of the time, your gut's going to be right. And I'm going to flip it up here, right? I try not to listen to my head because it's been wrong before. I definitely don't listen to my heart because that's been wrong before. But when my gut tells me something's not right or something's wrong or something needs doing, I listen to my gut.
And for you, has it taken a while to get to know what that gut feeling is versus your head?
It took a long while.
How did you get there?
Again, it's an age thing. I really think it's an age thing. But now, I mean, it drives my missus mad, and particularly one of my friends who always phones me up for character references, like, oh, I met this one today. What do you think about him? Or what do you think about them? And I'll always give my honest opinion, right? And it drives him mental, this guy in particular. Because 4 or 5 months later, he'll come back to me and go, fucking hell, Giller, you were absolutely spot on and I didn't listen to you. So I do listen to my gut before I listen to anything else.
Yeah, and I've noticed now, even though in the past I've had a gut feeling towards something, my mind has overridden it. And it's like, oh no, like this is just a wound, or you've got trust issues or something like that. And I haven't trusted that inner teacher, that inner knowing. Yeah.
So you kind of you kind of get what I'm talking about here, yeah?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your gut's never going to lie to you, Harrison.
Mm.
You might not like what it's saying. You might not like what it's saying. But I feel that I judge people very, very well. I feel that if you come into my aura and you misbehave, you won't stay in my aura. I don't have many people around me, but what I have got is I've got people who I know, love and trust. Right, and those are the people that I let in.
I think it's a huge part of the man's journey, or any person's journey really, is knowing what you stand for. And then as soon as you know that, then you know who your tribe is.
I know I'm a good human. And that's not me being aloof. That's not me being aloof at all. I'm a good human, man. I try my best. Sometimes my best might not be good enough, or that my mouth might run away with me a little bit. But I never go out of my way to offend people. If you're offended by something I've said, that's your problem, not mine. Right, and there's a lesson as well. There's a massive lesson, like, especially in today's world where everyone's offended. Like, so I'm going to go back to it on a daily basis. I post stuff on social media, and on numerous occasions I get people coming at me saying, you've offended me. My reply to them is, no, I haven't offended you. You've taken offence. You've taken offence. There's a massive difference.
Do you find people are kind of receptive to hearing, in my in my view, kind of the truth of things? Do you think people are quite receptive, or they're just happy to stay in their little...
That's going back to this criticism and feedback, isn't it? You know, if someone comes at me and they say, right, that's not great, you could be doing better here. And I'm really open. I ask for feedback. I ask for it from my clients. Maybe once a month or twice a month, I do a little dip into my clients. How am I treating you? Oh, what we're doing, is what we're doing working? Right? Am I treating you in the right manner? Do I need to fix up a little bit? And there's a beautiful track called Fix Up and Look Sharp by Dizzy Rascal. And sometimes I do have to fix up and look a little bit sharper. But I'm fortunate and blessed enough, and I keep on using that word blessed. I'm not lucky, I'm blessed. Kind of blessed that I was brought up by two beautiful human beings. Kind of blessed that I surrounded myself with good people. And I'm going to fuck up sometimes, Harrison. We all do, yeah? But I don't go out my way to offend anyone. I wouldn't. Unless you're an Arsenal supporter, but that's a different story.
Well, it's... There's something about that, like authenticity, and I think you've said that you've always kind of had that.
I've always had it,
and I think it's one of the things that I know in my journey. I was really I craved so deeply because I really struggled with that, and I think a lot of guys in their growth journey struggle with that, just kind of owning who they are.
Yeah, but I think society fucks you up on that as well. I really do. I think society tells you how to behave and then has a go at you because you behave in that manner. Right? It's what everyone else is thinking. Nah. So when I put my head down of an evening, the one question that I ask myself is, did I do the best job I could today? And even if I fucked up or done something wrong, I haven't gone out of my way to fuck up or do something wrong, Harrison. Does that make sense?
Have you always, it does, have you always had that approach, or is that only recently?
No,
where I'd say like that, and this is something which is interesting, right? Because if we say fuck up here, for, as that's the phrase being used, but let's say you do, there's kind of a different ways you can react to that. There's kind of the compassionate one, the self-compassion, or there's the kind of shame loop that I think a lot of guys can
I don't go
through.
down that shame loop anymore. I used to. I don't go down there anymore. No good for me. Doesn't serve me. I'm going to go back to saying what I said, Harrison. I don't go out of my way to fuck stuff up. We're human beings. We're going to do stuff wrong. Yeah, but it's how you deal with it. You've done that wrong thing. You beating yourself up because you fucked up or you've done something wrong. It's not the way forward. It really, really isn't the way forward. You've got to be kind to yourself. We used the word before, kind, didn't we? You've got to be kind to yourself. It's hard. It's hard some days. It's hard. But I think going back to what I was saying, I'm the most important person in my life. Why am I being so hard on myself? Do you know what the other thing is as well? Keep on saying it, I'm 55 years old. I'm not here to please everyone else now. And I think that comes with age, Harrison.
Yeah, I'd say experience for sure. Experience, and I think for myself, it was something I wanted to shift pretty early on because it was such like a focal point of my journey. I think subconsciously there might be different things, but yeah, I think there just comes a point where you just get fed up of you're just done with it, and I wonder if. Like even you were saying before how important it was to find your people. I think that's so important because you can just be yourself, and that has kind of allowed you to own who you are. Whether you're swearing,
I was with two of my boys
mind.
on Saturday, went to go to open one of my boys' missus' studio, and I walked away. We were only together for about an hour, and I walked away. I was ripped. My cup was so full up because I was around two boys that, I mean, some of the conversations that go on between us, they're X-rated, seriously. But when you can be yourself around those people, I don't want to be around people where I've got to put a facade on. I've done that.
But
don't want to do it anymore.
This is the thing, right? For me, that's just obvious. But until you've experienced that feeling of being with your people, you're just going to assume that's normal or reality. And I went on a double date with my girlfriend the other day, and man, we had so much.
Did she know
fun.
you were bringing the other girl?
Disclaimer. She's very much.
I like the way you put a disclaimer in there.
There's no confusion. It was a joke.
Sorry, man. I got you in trouble there. Sorry, dude.
No. Yeah, Nathan and Lisa can be. They can attest.
I like the way you're backtracking here. Carry on, Harrison.
Anyway, point is, we absolutely loved it. It was just we spoke about certain things which you can't speak about with certain other types of people, and I remember just saying to Jamie after, I was like, man, I don't want interactions outside of that. And I kind of had that shift with kind of my work business life as well. I was like, if it doesn't feel good, then I just don't want to do it. And I think I've always been very stubborn in that regard. And I think my mum thinks I've gone too far the other way now, because I'm just so like in my own stuff. But yeah, I don't like kind of following the rules, you know. I don't like.
What are these rules one speaks of? See, I was thrown out of school at 15 because I didn't follow the rules. And there's a lot of people, when I tell that story, everyone looks at me going, what? You were thrown out of school at 15? That's what happened in my days. You know, they couldn't wait to throw me out the door. I wasn't nasty. I wasn't nasty in any shape or form. I was Larry. I thought that I knew everything at the age of 13, 14, 15 years old. Only now I can look back and turn around and go, I was a right little git, but I wasn't horrible. I was just mischievous. Do you know what I'm talking about? There was just mischief there. I'm still like that now, to be quite honest with you. If I can aggravate someone or put a smile on someone or play a prank, that's who I am. That's who I am.
And you're owning who you are, which is the main thing, right?
And that's important. You know, that's important. So I'm in a business world, right? And the business world, you've noticed today, I swear quite a bit, okay? And that's going to offend people. Right? And again, I'm going to go back to it, right? If you're offended by a swear word, that's your fucking problem. It's not mine. Okay? They're words. They're words, okay? They're not hurty words. They're words. So for me, building my business in the last 6 or 7 years, we're going back to it. I'm a mentor stroke coach. And if you don't like swearing, there's no point me working with you or you working with me, because you're going to get caned. I'm going to call you all the names under the sun if you're not doing what it is you're supposed to be doing.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I remember thinking about this, and I would swear quite a lot in my earlier podcast episodes. And my grandma messaged me.
Whereas my mum would message me going, that was fucking brilliant. There you go. There's the difference, you know?
Right.
I've never been one to, I want to use the word conform. Right. I've never, and I've lost gigs because I swear. I've not done gigs because they've done research on me. I mean, I had it a couple of years ago. I was doing a workshop and there was someone in there, and they turned around and said to me, "Oh, you'd be really good for the company that I work for." How many you got? Oh, 300 odd. She said, "I'll go and tell my governor about you." So the next day she pinged me and she went, "Oh, I've told my governor about you. We'll come back to you within the week." And it went all quiet. So about a week, 10 days later, I pinged her and I went, "Everything all right, Joe?" She went, yeah, my boss has done his research on you and we can't have you here. I'm like, "Why is that?" She's gone, "Well, he's done research, seen you online, you swear too much." I went, Okay, cool. And you got to be at peace with yourself enough to turn around and go, "Okay, cool. Not my people. Not my people." And going back to it, if a swear word offends you, I don't want to offend your grandma, by the way, but if a swear word offends you, that's not my problem.
And it's interesting.
The was, do you agree with that, Harrison? Or
I do. it's just interesting because I remember early on in my podcast journey, because I realized I was swearing a lot, I was thinking about it. Like what? And then I was kind of thinking about a perception. And then I was thinking, oh, well, hang on, I don't care about how I'm perceived. But then I wonder if I wonder if in the work element, like there is an element of like you say like professionalism, perhaps.
What's your definition of professionalism? What do you honestly think that these people that are professional don't swear?
I don't.
Right. So it's their reality check, not mine. And again, that's going to sound really aloof. I don't want it to sound aloof. Okay? I really, really don't. And let me whack a little caveat on this. I know when I can and when I can't. So if I'm in a situation where I can't swear, I won't. So I'll give you an idea. I was introduced to someone a couple of weeks ago. I started off in my normal way. It was an hour session. I started off in my normal way. And about 15 minutes in, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this don't feel right. So then I turned around to the guy and went, oh, come on, tell me a little bit about you. He said, oh, I'm a Latter-day Saint. And I'm sitting there thinking, whoa, I've been swearing for 15 minutes. He don't like swearing. That's why I can feel the vibe going on. So I judge an audience. I judge a room. Okay? So I won't bang straight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like discernment.
Yeah. But again, I'm going to go back to it. If you're offended by some of the words that come out of my mouth or words that come out of other people's mouths, get a life, man. We're in 2026. There are so many people that are offended by stuff.
I think it's changing now. I think people want more authenticity, and I think the world as we know it is shifting quite a lot. And people kind of done with these kind of they can see through this like facade of like the professionalism I was talking to you about, and that's why I've kind of lent into it a bit more. And kind of
I coach stroke mentor for a living. This is the way that I dress. Okay. If you're expecting someone to walk in a suit and a tie, I'm not your man. Right? But me walking in like this, I'm chilled, I'm relaxed, I'm ready to rumble, yeah? I'm not sitting there fidgeting in a shirt that's too tight for me or a tie, right? Or a pair of shoes that are too tight for me. I'm comfortable. So if I'm comfortable being me, I'm going to help you being comfortable being you.
You know what? This is really interesting because I've thought about this myself in terms of style, and I just feel very comfortable now. And if I feel comfortable, then that's going to come across in my energy and how I feel. And I've always thought, should I dress up? I say dress up for a podcast, and I look at my wardrobe and I'm like, do you know what? I'm not feeling any of this.
No.
I don't like it's not.
You've got to be comfortable with yourself. There's the massive nugget. You have to be comfortable with yourself. And it's not other people's expectations. Okay? It's me. And you use the word comfortable. My missus knows for a fact I love being comfortable. So I'll have a pair of sweats or a hoodie, right? I love my trainers, right? And every time I have to come out of this, so we went to a wedding a couple of weeks ago, I had to wear a fucking suit. I had to wear a shirt. And I had to wear shoes. Right? Now, the last time I did that was about 2 years ago. And all this, it's a facade, man. It's a real facade. People walking around in suits and ties, and it has got a lot better over the last 5 to 10 years. People understand you don't have to be wearing a tie anymore, but it's still people are looking at this and deciding what it is, who you are.
They are, and I wonder again. There's something about not sticking to your values and owning who you are.
I own who I am.
Because there's I guess the reason why some people think about it, they say, oh, it's, and you're looking at, this is just what I am observing in conversations with men when they're in these kind of more corporate environments or they're speaking with big leaders and stuff. There's this kind of like, okay, you know what? It's shit, but people are going to have their perceptions of you subconsciously or not. And so
have
the
you
argument
ever been in a meeting? Sorry to stop you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in? Because I have. Have you ever been in a meeting where you haven't got a clue what they're talking about because they're using acronyms or they're using big words, or they're using words that you don't understand to make you look stupid. Right? And I remember when I ran the business, when I ran the mailing house, I was once sitting in a gig and I was put in front of the managing director, the CFO, the CEO, the whoever it was. There was about 10 or 15 of them sitting there. And the owner walked in and he sat down. He went, "Who's this?" And one of the guys who was running it to her said, "Oh, this is Neil Giller. He's from Central Direct Mail." And he's looked at me and he's looking at me and I'm thinking, "What are you doing?" He went, "Do you think your attire is good enough?" And I looked at him and I went, "Excuse me?" He went, "Well, we're all sitting here in suits and ties. You're not." So at that point, only because it was my business, I turned around and went, "Well, if you don't like it, I'll get up and go." If you don't like, no. If you don't like it, I'll get up and go. Because if you're being that pedantic, how is it going to manifest when we start doing work with you? Right? So let me give you a little terminology. And you said something before about what other people think about you. Let me get this right. It's not that I don't care what people think about me, Harrison. It's that I can't care what people think about me. It's not that I don't care what people think about me, because I do. I do. If I worried about every single person that thought about me and thought that I swear too much, I'm too leery, I'm too loudmouth, etc., I wouldn't be me, would I?
And you take all that energy on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something I thought about recently. How much energy do we subconsciously take on from other people? It's like, got to be protective over that for sure.
Don't want to do it. And I do think it's an age thing. I really, really do think it's an age thing.
So I believe it actually comes from when you've got a purpose. Because when you've got a purpose, you haven't got time to be pleasing other people. So that's my view. As opposed to
I'm not here to please other people. I have to please the most important person in my life first of all. And I've already discussed that person's me. And if that offends you, I'm going to say it again. If that offends you, that's your parcel. Don't give me your parcel. Don't give me your. I've got my parcel. And if you don't like me, it's quite easy. See, sometimes I've had it before. I don't like what you've put on Facebook. Well, 1 second. I never fucking invited you onto my Facebook. I use this as well to people that get offended. I've had it before. Guy was going at me. And I turned around and said, "You know what? I can tell you're really offended, but you come across as a kind of guy that would be offended if you went to a strip joint and saw a pair of tits." At which point, he unfollowed me, which was fantastic.
That's brilliant.
But if we're always worried about what other people are thinking about you, the people that I listen to are my mum, my dad, and unfortunately, I've got a 24-year-old daughter who is stunning and a 28-year-old daughter who is stunning. And when they tell me something, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Like, "Dad, don't be wearing those trainers," or "Dad, no baggy jeans for you, you're 55 years old." You know what I mean? But I take that from the people who I know, love and trust. Right? I'll take that feedback, talking about it again. But other than that, if you want to come into my life and tell me that I'm an arsehole and you don't even know me, do me a favour. I want to say fuck off, but I wouldn't say that.
Well, it's
you're going to have a real big blooper on this, aren't you? Beep, 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 beep.
Well,
Grandma's not going to like this one. Sorry, Grandma.
Sorry, no. It actually makes it a lot easier, because usually at the end of each podcast episode, when I'm uploading the show, I have to click the box or tick it, whether it's explicit or not. So I have to get the transcript, put it into AI.
Tick the box.
Yeah.
Just tick the box, whatever you do.
I'm like, is there
You don't need to worry about this. There's no grey here. Yeah, there's no grey whatsoever.
No, which makes it a lot easier. But I love this. I love this theme. And before we go into the closing traditions, I'd like to honour that, because this is what the show's all about. As I said to you before, it started off getting men on the show and just talking about their challenges, working through them. But I've realised actually the journey of the man is going from approval seeking to self-led and leading themselves, not only with not pleasing other people, but also about just owning who you are and looking after yourself and caring for yourself. That's what it means to be self-led. So I love how, even though you said you've always been like that, you've shifted and transformed in the way that you lead yourself in the self-care aspect.
I think we shift and transform every day, don't we? You have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's really important. There's enough times, I mean, I'm fortunate I do think about stuff before it comes out of my mouth, right? So, and there's a lot of people in this world that don't. So again, I'm going to go back to it. I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm not here to push buttons on anyone. I'm here to live a really simple life. I'm here to lead a life that I enjoy. And I do find that difficult enjoying stuff, going back to the depression side of things. So when I do, or I am in a position where I'm enjoying myself, I will seriously whoa, yeah, wicked. I mean, I'm actually enjoying myself. So I said to you, we went to Scotland a couple of weeks ago, and on the Friday we were driving and we stopped, and my missus turned around and said, we're going to go and see a seal sanctuary. So we went onto a beach and there were dunes. And as we walked round the corner, there were probably 200 seals getting in the water, getting in the sea and swimming and everything. And I'm standing there. I've got my phone in my right hand and I'm looking at texts or looking at bits and pieces from my boys and what's going on my social media. At which point I looked at it and I'm like, what are you doing? Switch it off, back pocket, be present. That hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes, it's perfection, man. It's about being present, which I think is what we're talking about. It's about being present. And that for me is really, really important. Really important.
Yeah. Because when you're present, you're not in your mind. You're just living.
Doing what it is you got to do.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about my business, and I hope that love came across. I'm really blessed. I love what I do, but adore what I do. And in my sessions, I feel at real ease because not only am I helping them, but there's a few occasions that all of a sudden I'll say something to my clients and go, whoa, 1 second, write it down because I've got to go by that. Do you know what I mean? I haven't listened to that bit, but it's not easy. And I'm not going to say it's not easy being a man in today's world, but it's not. It's not. You've got all these things that are expected of you. And no, you don't need to run to expectations. You really, really don't.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you're paying your bills every single month and you're not hurting anyone, that's what's really important. That's what's really important. You said something to me before as well, and I've got to come at it. And I'm going to give you another quote. This is a choice, Harrison. The way I behave is a choice. There's a beautiful saying out there by a philosopher called Ramdas, Ramdas. We're all just walking each other home. We're all just walking each other home. So every single person I come across, I'll have a smile on my face. Because I don't know where that smile's going to go. I don't know how much you need that smile. And I don't know where else you're... So if I smile at you now, okay, the thing that I love about that, and I get a smile back off of you, the thing I love about that is I know for a fact you're going to be walking out of here and you're going to go and give that smile to someone else. Right? What's that person going to do with that smile? They're going to give it to someone. It's like the ripple effect, isn't it?
Yes, and this is my attitude to, easy thing to do is, all this stuff going on in the world and this happening and this happening. And the best way I can make an impact on this world, and I imagine you share a similar belief, is by having a positive impact on people around me, and then that will have a ripple effect.
We have got one fucked up world at the moment. It's fucked, right? But there are some stunning people in this world. There is some beautiful stuff going on in this world. So we got a choice. We dwell on the negativity or we enhance the positivity. I go out of my way to put positivity into the world. Because I'm a true believer that's what I was put here for. I don't want to go all like psychic shit on you.
Oh, I know. It's very welcome here.
I was put on this earth to make people smile.
Some would call you a light worker.
A light worker?
Yeah, that's the term. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So it's a certain term given to people who were put down on this earth to spread light. Essentially,
we're all just walking each other home. You know, here's another thing as well. When I ask people how they are, I am asking for a reason. I don't want to hear, yeah, I'm all right. Because if I hear, yeah, I'm all right, I'll actually turn around and ask for the second time. Can I ask you again, you all right? And that second time gets the response that I want.
It was it was someone pointing out to me that all right isn't an emotion. And so actually what I do now, because I have men's circles now, so people join in every Sunday. And at the end, I was like, right, check in. How do we feel? We look at the wheel. I'm like, look at the wheel of emotions. And you're like, wow. Because actually it's so many different emotions we can feel as opposed to good, bad, whatever. So yeah, it's something
life's complex, Harrison. We're complex. There's no answers. There's no answers here.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to live day by day, coming up with our own answers, coming up with our own solutions.
That Ram Dass quote is interesting. You mentioned that because I kind of read it as we're walking each other home. So again, home for me, that's actually kind of who we were before we kind of came down to the earth. And then every interaction we have, we're kind of learning from another person if we're open to it. And then that can help us learn more about ourselves. And then that is the spiritual journey, because then you're kind of getting rid of all these layers. And then we find ourselves back to who we are. That was the way I kind of read that.
Listen, you've read it the way that you read it. For me, I like making a difference.
Yeah.
It's even down to like someone when you go shopping, right? I've got a beautiful line when I go shopping or there's someone on the till. Like, how you doing? And my reply to me is, I woke up this morning. And all of a sudden I turn around and go, what? Yeah, I woke up this morning. And it'll always get a laugh. If I've left someone with more than they had before I met them, that's where I want to be. And that is a choice. That's a choice. I sometimes have to go out of my way to make sure that works. Tell you what, it's a beautiful thing making a difference, Harrison. It's a beautiful thing. What was the terminology you used? Light giver.
Light worker.
Light worker. I'm going to Google that when I get back. I'm going to Google that. Thank you.
So I think that's just a beautiful approach to life, and it's just such a simple thing to do. But again, just interrupting that pattern and just making a difference.
Going back to it, there's so much negativity. We have to be drawn in by that negativity. So one of the things I turn around to my clients and I ban them from is the news on television and newspapers.
Yep.
And then people turn around and go, well, how do you know what's going on? What do you mean, how do I know what's going on? I know 2 weeks ago I was paying less for petrol than I am now. I know last year I was paying less for my shopping than I am now. I know that my holiday was cheaper 3 years ago than it is now, right? So I know what's going on in the world. I don't need to watch what Mr. Orange is up to. I don't have to watch what our dickhead's up to. I don't have to listen to these people who are trying to run our lives that haven't got a clue of what life is all about. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want to go political here, right?
No, but it's not even political. It's taking kind of a step above that.
Yeah.
Really, it's kind of like you can get involved in all this stuff.
It's white
just
noise.
It's noise. It takes you away from yourself and your mission. Yeah, I resonate with that completely.
I'm not allowed to watch Question Time anymore, by the way. Yeah, my missus is banned me for watching Question Time because every single time Question Time's on, I feel myself get really, really upset. I don't like getting upset.
You know what's really... So I've noticed now, I can't... Like when you get more in tune with your body, I can't, like, there's very few things I can watch now because I notice my body reacting to it and it's like, wow, like this is having an impact on So I don't watch anything. I don't watch anything now. The one thing which occasionally is David Attenborough, just the animals, because it's just, you know,
How
that's...
can you not love David Attenborough?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a jewel, isn't it? I mean, there will be a national funeral for that dude when he passes. He's 99 years old, I think it was the last time I saw.
Really?
He's got to make 100. He has to make 100. Yeah, but there's certain things that I love watching as well, but I won't watch politics. I won't sit and listen to all the noise. It's white noise. It's meant to keep us down, and it's always been like that. It's always been like that. It's propaganda. It's always been like that.
Do you think, well, maybe this is a whole other podcast episode.
Is that an invite back? Thanks, Harrison. Cheers, man.
Well, one could argue that football is part of the whole system as well.
You went there, man. Yeah, that's the only thing that really depresses me. And for those that haven't worked out, I'm a Tottenham supporter. Come on, bring it on. Come on.
Man, I've kind of been on a whole journey with football generally, because when I detached, because I used to be Tottenham mad as a kid, and then when I detached from it, I was like, man, this is really controlling people's like well-being, and I'm like, but it doesn't. And then I kind of had this realization in my mind, like as a kid, I loved it, and then I was like, this team could win the Champions League. It's not actually going to impact my life. And I think how much energy, and don't get me wrong, I know how big it is for people and it's their thing, and I think that's awesome. But for me, I'm like, man, like it's how much energy is going towards that. And so for me personally, I just thought, does that contribute to this kind of like noise?
Well, I'm home and away. And many, probably about 5-6 years ago, I remember sitting there getting aggravated. And being who I am, I sat there and I worked it out. I went, whoa, 1 second. Whoa. Let me just work this out, okay? I'm getting aggravated about 11 multi-millionaires kicking a pig's bladder around a bit of grass. What am I getting aggravated for? They don't care. Why should I care? It is difficult sometimes, but I think the older that I've got, the more I've just got to a point where, yeah, okay. And at the moment, I'm used to losing. It's the way that it is. It's all right.
If you can kind of enjoy it, then
yeah. Do you know what? I enjoy the day. So I go with my daughter. I go home and away with my daughter. We go with friends, etc., etc. That's what I enjoy. That's going out for something sweet before and or after, having a cheeky little drink with the boys. That's what I enjoy. That's my enjoyment.
I think that's what I kind of miss about it as well, because when I was younger, it was like this whole group of us who would go, and it was European nights. We go to the Turkish and all of this stuff. So I resonate with that, and especially the away days as well. That I always found more fun, because even if you don't get the result, it's still like exciting. It's different. That's it.
I've had a day out.
So I get that. Well, look, I mean, whole other conversation, but we'll move into the closing tradition,
please.
And before things escalate. But
I'm just glad you're not a gooner.
Yeah. No, although I was close to, even though my dad was a Spurs fan. My sister's godfather is Dennis Bergkamp, and my mum was very good friends with the Bergkamps, and we were as a family.
Phenomenal player. Oh my God. Phenomenal player.
And so,
phenomenal.
Yeah. He was
nice guy?
Lovely.
Really?
Yeah, so lovely. Yeah. Lovely family as well. But when I was young, it was quite tight between Spurs and Arsenal. My dad wasn't going to let it happen, obviously, but it was, that was my mum's team. Yeah. Okay, well, we have 3 questions for the closing tradition.
Go for it, shoot.
And the first 2 are routine, they're asked every week, and the third is asked by a member of the Growth Voyage community. First one, nice and simple. You said you like your tunes, so it's a song recommendation.
Oh, wow. There are so many. Sunshine by Roy Ayers. Everybody loves the sunshine.
Everyone loves the sunshine.
You got it. Sweet Disposition.
Oh, wow. Temper Trap.
There you go. That is, do you know what? I'm mixing it up a little bit for you here, isn't it?
That is interesting.
And I mean, I've got a real eclectic music. I like my drum and bass. I'm going to leave you with those two. There you go. I'm going to leave you with those two.
I mean, Sweet Disposition, that's proper.
Oh,
I think the kids call it ball knowledge, but that's.
What a tune. What a tune.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm going to do when I get in the car?
I'm going to listen. I'm going to put
I am putting that on. You know it.
I haven't listened to that in years.
It's
wow.
such a tune, isn't it?
And I don't think it's that well. Maybe it is well known now, but back in the day, it was.
I don't think it. Don't think it is. I don't think it is well known enough.
Oh,
And I hope that if you're listening to this, do yourself a favour. Seriously,
that is nostalgic.
Sweet
as hell.
Disposition. Tune.
That's a great tune.
Tune. I used to DJ
brilliant.
when I was a kid with my brother, so yeah, we used to love our tunes. Yeah.
I'm getting back into it now. I used to DJ at house parties at university.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, great fun. Second one, it's a book recommendation.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
And Mel Robbins, Let Them. Have you heard of it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, fucking powerful, man. Really. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is just a phenomenal book. It's the way that you should live life. But Mel Robbins, Let Them is the way you should definitely be living life. No shadow of a doubt.
And while I haven't read Let Them Theory myself, I'm aware of Mel's work, and I have it makes sense. I feel as though you embody a lot of what's in that book. Just
I'm going
through
to
our
take that as a
conversation.
compliment, Harrison. I really am. I'm going to take that as a compliment, because if that's something, I mean, listen, I was blown away by it when I first. I don't read because I'm dyslexic, but when I listened to it, but I'm actually on my third time round with it.
I was going to ask, because they say How to Win Friends is one of those you keep forever, and
Correct.
You've got to remind yourself
Correct.
over and over. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for me to revisit that, because
Cool.
it was one of the first ones. I was like, oh yeah, this is.
Let me know how you get on with it, man. Let me know how you get on with it, please.
I will get some refreshed insight. The final question, it comes in from a member of the community, as we mentioned. This one comes on from a previous guest and a friend of yours as well. It's David Chernick.
Oh, yo. Did I say that properly? Did I? Yo. Go on, go for it. I love Churns. I love him to bits and pieces. He's such a good human.
It was, what self-limiting belief can't you shake off?
Oh, DC, you bastard. Oh, wow. You stumped me, man. And for anyone listening that has never heard Giller get stumped, Harrison's done it, man. Harrison has done it. There you go. So if you want to know how to stump Giller, give me the question again, please. What limiting belief?
What self-limiting belief can't you shake off?
I'm not going to say that I can't shake it off, but I keep on reminding myself, I'm fucking brilliant. That's the self-limiting belief. And that's not me being aloof. I just need to reiterate that. Because if every single person turned around and actually believed that they were as awesome as they actually are, what a phenomenal world we have. Right, and going back to it, I woke up this morning, going back to it, I try and put a smile on people's faces. See, I'm going to go with that one, if that's all right. Thanks, DC, you bastard. Cheers, I really appreciate it. Yo!
Well, I think it's one of those which is a constant. It's one you have to be constantly reminding yourself of.
You have to remind yourself of it.
It's constantly.
But do you know
needs
what the
work.
other thing is as well? I'm doing the best that I can, and that'll do. Doing the best that I can, and that will do.
Yeah, damn straight. It's certainly something I can relate to. It took me a long time to actually appreciate and know who I really was, and it was only once I got enough evidence to go, yeah, actually, maybe these people are right. You know, it's Yeah, it's really important. So I love that you finished on that.
Thanks, man. Listen, but before you shut down, I just want to really, really thank you for your time and the invite today. There's plenty of people that wouldn't have me on their podcast, but you've chosen to. And seriously, from the heart, I really, really appreciate the chat that we've had today. And I appreciate your time as well, man.
Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate you coming on. Very welcome. And where can people find you if they want
all over the show? See, what I don't do is I don't hide myself. My name's Neil Giller, Neil Giller, which is killer with a G, especially if you don't pay the bill. But I'm Neil Giller across every single platform, which might get me into trouble sometimes because people can find Neil Giller, but I am who I am. I haven't got any pseudonyms. I haven't got any nicknames. I'm Neil Giller. It's as simple as that. So you can predominantly find me on Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Fantastic. Links are in the description. Neil, thank you so much.
Namaste, my friend. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.